Hello everybody, it's a new week here on Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's your number one tennis betting podcast and YouTube show brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. I am Nigel Seeley. Joining me is our senior ATP Tour handicapper, Sean Cover, as per usual. On a Sunday, we preview the ATP action this week. Please hit the subscribe button. If you are new to the channel, lots of you have joined us throughout the Australian Open. Please hit the subscribe button. Join us and be notified of every time any bit of content drops on the channel, on the World of Sport, and the fastest growing sports betting YouTube channel. Good afternoon, Sean. Big morning. Tennis morning. Carlos Alcaraz wins his 7th major title in 4 sets against Novak Djokovic. That wasn't a great final, but he did enough to get past Novak.
Yeah, great start from Novak, wasn't it? I think Alcaraz was probably a bit rattled after the first set, but, you know, it's like we said, it's such a massive ask for anybody, let alone someone who's almost 39, to win a bunch of matches, then beat Sinner, then beat Alcaraz. I mean, that was probably the perfect storm for Djokovic, really, because, you know, he didn't have to play hardly at all in the run-up to the Sinner match, did he? I mean, he got the walkover from Mensik, an injury from Van der Zandschulp, which hampered him a bit. 2 easy matches, nice little bit of time off. Should have lost to Musetti, all ends up, got away with that. Managed to get to the semi-final stage in good shape. And obviously it's the start of the year, so no accumulated fatigue in the legs. And then he's gone on, and that gave him the platform to beat Sinner. You know, but to do it, to come back again, to come to the well twice in 36 hours and then take on Alcaraz, you know, it was always going to be a tough ask. He gave it his best shot, and our bet came in pretty comfortably, didn't it? The under races that won very easily. But it's just such a difficult thing to do. I think that was realistically his. I wouldn't say only, because you never know what's going to happen with injuries, but that was by far Djokovic's best chance. You know, when the next majors come around, you know, there's more fatigue around. It's just such a hard thing to do for anybody in this game, to beat them 2 back to back. And yeah, I think you asked me on this show about 3 years ago, maybe more.
I wasn't going to mention it. I wasn't.
How many majors Alcaraz is going to win? I said off the top of my head about 15. What's he got now? 7?
7 already. Yeah.
So I could have been a bit low there. But, you know, it's always difficult to guess, isn't it? You know, if he has an injury, let's hope he doesn't. But if he does, then, you know, you never know. But yeah, tough one for Djokovic. But, you know, he gave it his best.
Yeah, Alcaraz become the youngest player at 22 years of age to win a career slam, and he's got another 15 years left in him to win more majors.
I should have said 36.
Incredible achievement by him. Well, I wouldn't put him off in beating Djokovic's record, really. I don't think he'd be much. Interesting to know if you've got an opinion on that, but let me know what you think on the comment section. But he's won 7 already. He looks good. He's going to be favourite or vying for favouritism for the next 3 as well with Jannik Sinner. Probably be favourite for all 3 of them now. But a good win as well without Juan Carlos Ferrero in the box as well. We questioned that. You know, what's he going to do without Ferrero, and he did it fairly comfortably. So good win for Novak Djokovic. Good win for Carlos Alcaraz. Novak Djokovic obviously had a good win yesterday, and hopefully you would cash some tickets on us. The Premier League, as a P&L, on the game bet match is minus 2.82 heading into this week, and it's we're back down to earth with a massive bang. We've got a 250 in Montpellier this week to look ahead to. It's indoors. It's on a quick hard call. What do you got for us, Sean? What are your thoughts on here?
I wouldn't say it was quick. I mean, it can change, and probably will change year on year. They obviously get laid fresh every year, because the venue is used obviously for other things throughout the year. It's normally a green set indoor hard court, but they've used head balls in the last 2 editions, which are normally pretty slow. But the stats from the last 2 editions are very different, very different. In 2024, there was only 75% holds and 69.5% first serve points won. Last year, there were 84% holds and 76.4% first serve points won. So 2 years played on the same surface with the same balls, with very, very different set of statistics. All I can really do is kind of average it out. The tie-break matches, last 2 editions, 41%. Over 10.5 in set 1, 34% in the last 2 editions. So you'd be looking at odds of plus 194 if you want to take on over 10.5 in set 1. The players, even last year, the players said it wasn't quick. They said it was pretty slow last year, and it looked slowish to me last year, but the stats suggest that it wasn't. So it's a bit of an anomaly. We are always guessing with these indoor hard tournaments, as people will know. You know, when we preview the Paris Masters, we always say, well, you know, it was this last year, but they tend to change it every single year for various reasons. as far as underdog winners are concerned in this tournament, going back many years, it averages 34%. The best round, actually, for underdog winners is the semi-final. 50% of the underdogs have won in the semi-final of this tournament over all the years that it's, well, all the last sort of 10 years or so that it's been played. And if you bet $10 on every underdog in the last 10 editions, you'll be showing a tiny profit of $31.36.
Yep. Underdogs have done pretty well there on the semi-finals, but it's a tournament that's had some good winners on it. Some of the listed honours is pretty good. If you went last year, Felix Auger-Aliassime won it last year, beat Kovacevic in the final, and he's here this week as the number 1 seed. Alexander Bublik won it in 2024. Yannick Sinner won it in 2023. Bublik again won it in 2022. It's not a bad tournament, actually. I was there last year, and I'm going again this week. It's a nice arena.
It's not going to rain
nice
again,
bit of... Not, it's going to rain a lot. There's going to be a lot of rain. And it came through the season last year, and they had to abandon. The scoreboard got broken. They had to abandon everything. It was delayed for about an hour and a half with the rain.
Did you think it was quick last year?
Do you know what? I couldn't remember really. I just presumed it would be quick because it's an indoor court, as I just said that at the intro. But obviously,
they do vary.
I didn't think it was that quick, really.
I don't think it was that quick, but it's just a weird.
I'm not great at that. You're much better than me. When you look at the court, you can tell straight away if it's quick or not. I'm not brilliant at that.
I think it's actually harder when you're there. I think it's easier on TV, weirdly. Unless you're looking at, like when I was at Indian Wells last year and everyone was getting excited about the change of surfaces, and that was much easier for me being physically there because I could see the grit and the sort of makeup of the court with my own eyes. But sometimes, depending on where you're sat as well, I'm always in the cheap seats, Nigel. It's not that easy to see really sometimes because of the angle that you're looking at. But for me, it didn't look that quick. I was just a bit kind of in two minds because the stats were suggesting that it was, but I don't think it's a particularly quick court. Usually.
I think it's difficult for me as well after a couple of glasses of bubbly, a couple of prawn cocktail.
And the rain coming
in.
It's
a little bit difficult. It's a little bit difficult to see as well. But there are some trends you've got for us. You've picked out some trends if you're looking for a winner.
Strong trends here. Definitely strong trends. I mean, 9 of the last 10 champions of this tournament have been priced up between 3-1 and 8-1. So if you're going on that, that's cut out the vast majority of the field already. Sasha Bublik in 2022 is the only player ever to have won this tournament from outside the top 5 in the betting. So the top 5 market leaders on price, they've always won it apart from in 2022. Last couple of years, a couple of big priced runners-up. 2 of the last 3 runners-up have been priced between 50-1 and 66-1. And last year, just an extra one, Alexander Kovacevic was the first ever qualifier to make the Montpellier final in all its many years of being played.
This is a look at the draw. This is the projected last 8. If you got to the quarterfinals and the seedings went as they are supposed to, this is how it would be. Felix Auger-Aliassime, defending champion and number 1 seed, would meet Artur Fils, who's making his comeback here. Been interesting to see how he gets on. Player that I rate very, very highly. Hopefully he can come back here and show some form. Talon Griekspoor at number 4 seed will play Kovacevic, who was the beaten finalist last year, as Sean said there. That makes up your top half of the draw, which is a little bit weaker, I think, than the bottom half of the draw. The bottom half of the draw sees Ugo and Bear, number 5 seed against Mahak, number 3 seed. Hurkacz, the number 7 seed, against Kaboli, number 2 seed. So that is your draw, and these are your odds to win the tournament with BetRivers, the 250, which starts tomorrow. Hubert Hurkacz is the favourite, $5, joint favourite, Felix Auger-Aliassime. Mahak is $6.50, Flavio Kaboli $7, Talon Griekspoor $9, Artur Fils on his comeback $11, Ugo and Bear $12, a lot of Frenchmen there in that section, and Petri Perregard $18, Basilashvili $25, Kecmanovic $25, Kovacevic $25, Medjedovic $25, and 28-1 bar, including another Frenchman, Adrian Manarino. I would say that the top half is a little bit weaker than the bottom half. Don't know your thoughts on that. And who's your idea of who's the winner this week?
I think you're right. Slightly. A lot depends on how Artur Fils shapes up for that to be the case. I am taking one in the bottom half of the draw, and I'm surprised he was this price. I really am. I don't really get why Ugo Humbert's 12-1 to win this. I know he's not our favourite person a lot of the time, but I looked at this market before the odds came out, and I was kind of expecting certain odds. I thought Humbert would be easily top 3 or 4 to win this tournament. A bigger price than Artur Fils, who hasn't played since last July. A bigger price than Kaboli, who's done 0 on indoor hard his entire career, and Greek Spore, who's clearly using this as a warm-up for Rotterdam next week, as he always does, and who's in no form anyway, by the way, and Humbert's bigger than all them. I don't get it. There's a few other pointers for Humbert, looking at a value price at 12-1. First of all, he skipped Davis Cup duty for this. If people don't know, the reason there's only one tournament this week is because Davis Cup is on the next weekend, on sort of this Saturday coming. Humbert's decided to skip that, and he said, "To approach this first part of the season and achieve my goals, I have chosen to focus on the upcoming tournaments, particularly those on indoor hard courts." He basically means Montpellier, doesn't he? I presume he's playing Rotterdam next week. I presume he's playing maybe Dallas, but he basically means Montpellier at home in France, and he does have the best stats on indoor hard of anybody in this half of the draw. In his career, 63% win rate, service points won and return points won, total of 103. We compare that with the rest of the players in this half that are shorter prices than him. Thomas Mahak, 50% win rate and a total of 99.5. Kaboli, 37% win rate and a total of 97. Hurkacz, who's the obvious contender, if you like, 54% win rate and a total of 101. So Humbert's got much better stats than all of those. Slightly better than Hurkacz as well, but much better win rate than Hurkacz. So statistically, he should be the favourite, really. He's beaten Hurkacz the last couple of times they've met, including indoors in France in Marseille at this time of year a couple of years ago. He's got a 5-0 head-to-head over Van der Zandschulp, who he plays in the opening round, and you would also assume that Van der Zandschulp would be focused on Rotterdam as well. Not that he's ever played well there, by the way, but 5-0 head-to-head, you would think that Humbert would fancy that. It's hard to see Martinez or Manarino in the next round beating him, so the obvious stumbling block would possibly be Mahak, but he's got a tough opening round. He's got a bye, and then he's got a Petchy Pericard, which indoor hard, which could be tough, or Geo, who's playing really well as well. So the other factor is motivation as well. This comes back to that point. 5 of Humbert's 11 finals have actually come on indoor hard in his career, and 4 of those 5 were in France. He doesn't have a particularly fabulous record in Montpellier, but I'm sure he'll be looking to put that right. He's not just going to ditch off the Davis Cup and then just give this a half-hearted effort. I can't see that happening at all. So, yeah, 12-1 for me is value, but I didn't think he'd be that price.
It does seem a big price, actually, didn't it? I mean, I thought when I looked at the draw, I thought that he would be probably second favourite.
I thought he would be.
Felix would be clear favourite. He would be second favourite, and Hurkacz probably third favourite. But
I could see.
How can he be bigger than Kaboli?
Yeah,
on Greek Sport, I don't get that.
I don't get it. I could see potentially Hurkacz on what he's done in the past and the way he plays. I could potentially see him maybe being a little bit shorter than Humbert, but not 1-5-1 and 1-12-1. That doesn't make any sense to me. It is Humbert. It comes with its own risks. Every time we back him, he loses in the first round and wins the tournament the following week. So if that happens, get on him for Rotterdam.
He does have the home support behind him as well. But when I went there last year, it is a lot of school kids.
It's not
great,
like, is it?
It's not like it's like the most intimidating place for anybody to go. So,
I,
But I'll be there from Thursday cheering him on, so don't worry.
I actually don't understand how a lot of these French 250s are still going. I'm surprised this tournament is still being played because it's heavily budgeted for by the local area, the local municipal region, and they pulled out about a year or so ago. So I don't know who's made up the rest of the money. Like you say, there's hardly anybody ever there at these French 250s. I don't understand how it's commercially viable. But anyway, it's by the by.
Do you know how much the tickets were? The quarter-final day, I think it was quarter-final. I'm going on Thursday, quarter-final day. How much are the tickets?
You know me, I don't normally do quarter-finals, semi-finals, final.
What do you reckon the ticket cost me?
Is it a good? It
good
depends.
seat as well. Not. It wasn't a great seat, but it's not a bad one either. It's not like the cheapest.
Behind the baseline or on the sides?
On the sides.
Quarter-finals, kind of mid. Probably about €50.
€20.
20.
€20. €20. Not bad, is it? Not bad.
That is pretty good value, actually. I was expecting it to be more than that. I've been to Marseille. I can't remember what the ticket prices were off the top of my head. Yeah, sometimes it is a little bit soulless in there. In some of these tournaments like Metz, Marseille, Montpellier, these sort of places, they can be a little bit lacking in atmosphere, which is why they obviously bring the kids the kids in for €1 or whatever it is, whatever deal they do.
I can guarantee you, if Ugo and Bear's in it and I'm holding a 12-1 ticket, it will not be quiet. We'll be making sure we're making enough noise to get him over the line.
We'll be able to hear you on the TV then. You'll be the only voice.
Yeah, you'll be hearing me. We have got some match bets as well. Obviously, as Sean said, this is the only tournament this week. So if you download the Bet Rivers app, make sure you get involved. And any bets you have, you'll be able to live stream this tournament over in Montpellier in the south of France. The match we're going to start off with at 4:30 a.m. Eastern time. It's the match between Luca Nardi and Basilashvili, where Luca Nardi is a quite heavy favourite, minus 175. Basilashvili is plus 138. Spread is 2.5, total 22.5. Basilashvili set betting there and spread betting as well. Be about 40 different markets available on this match when they take to the court the early hours of tomorrow morning. But this one here, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't understand why Luca Nardi is so short here. Hasn't really done much. Been playing in the Challenger events after he got beat in the first round of the Australian Open. I know that Basilashvili is in bad form, not in the greatest of form, but I think it's a little bit short in the Italian here.
Yeah, I don't think this will be played tomorrow. I'd be stunned beyond belief if this was being played tomorrow. The schedule's not out, is it?
No, we've got this is what time the actual start date time is. It's 4:30. The tournament starts 4:30, so we don't know who is actually playing.
Yeah, sorry.
But if you want to have a bet, you've got to get your bet on by 4:30 a.m. on Monday.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any chance at all this will be played on Monday because Luca Nardi's still playing in the Manamar Challenger in Bahrain. This is one of the reasons I'm liking Nikoloz Basilashvili here. I mean, he should be much better prepared for this, having been in France, should I say, at the Quimper Challenger. All right, he lost, but he's still been there, played indoor hard in France. I mean, Quimper's not exactly close to Montpellier, but it's not as far away as Bahrain, that's for sure. Nardi's playing the final today in about an hour from now, actually, so he's got to finish that. Then, I mean, Bahrain to Montpellier, I can't imagine is an easy journey. Not too many direct flights there, I wouldn't have thought. So he's got to come back, and that's outdoor hard. He's got to adjust to the conditions. He's got time zones, all that sort of stuff. Basilashvili did make the quarterfinals here last year. Beat Kukushkin, beat Artur Rinderknecht. I think we bet him against Rinderknecht. I'm pretty sure.
I think we bet him to win the tournament. I think we won him to win the tournament last year.
We might have
big price.
We definitely had him to beat Rinderknecht in some way, shape, or form, and he ended up retiring, didn't he, in the match after that against Rublev. But that was one of the other reasons why I thought this court was a bit slow. It seemed perfect for Basilashvili. A slowish indoor conditions does suit him. He doesn't like it too quick, but he really hammers the ball. If you've ever seen Basilashvili play, when he's on form, it's almost unplayable. The way that he hits the ball, the pace, he hits the ball off both sides, but he can also turn into an unforced error machine at any given moment. But the slow conditions, I think it just gives him that little bit of extra time to set himself for his massive shots, and that's probably why he did well here last year. And Nardi's got a nothing record on indoor hard at main level. In his career, he's won 2, lost 8. Service points won and return points won, total of 94. He's only won 31.4% of return points and only 46% of second serve points. So pretty, I wouldn't say awful, but not great at all record on indoor hard at main level. Basilashvili, if we just look at his last 10, because he's obviously played for a lot longer. If we look at Basilashvili's last 10 indoor matches at main level, 50% win rate, service points won and return points won, total of 102. 37.4% return points won, 54.3% second serve points won. So a much, much, much better record on this surface than Nardi. The issue with Basil, which is why he's underdog here, is that he has struggled a lot with his shoulder in recent years. That was what put paid to his season last year. He was playing pretty well at the end of last season. Shoulder problem cropped up again. And he's not done much this season. So we are guessing a little bit as to his fitness. He got engaged about a month ago, incidentally, if you're interested in the personal life of Basilashvili. So
yeah, massively.
Yeah. So hopefully he's in a good place there as well off the court. So yeah, the shoulder is the only thing that puts me off, but I think we have to take a chance on him at plus 138 here, given that Nardi's going to have absolutely zero time to prepare for very different conditions than what he's coming from in Bahrain.
So, big price, underdog there, Basilashvili plus 138. Action starts on Monday. This match might not be on Monday, but the action does start 4:30 a.m. Eastern time. So, let's move on to our second match. It's Miomir Kecmanovic up against Pablo, Carreno, Busta. Both of these players are in terrible, terrible form. If you look at their recent records, it's pretty bad. Kecmanovic yet to win a match in 2026. Carreno Busta's on a run of 3 consecutive losing matches. The veteran, he's plus 105. Carreno Busta here. Kecmanovic is minus 130. Spread is 1.5. Total here is 22.5. Again, the whole host of markets available on the BetRivers app. There is some head-to-heads to go on here, and it's 2-0 to Kecmanovic. He's won both of their previous meetings way back in 2022, one in Naples and one in Cincinnati, and he won them both. Different now, 4 years on, but Kecmanovic is a favourite, but he is an uneasy favourite in the betting market with BetRivers.
Yeah, there's money coming for PCB here, and I'm not surprised, actually. He was plus 107 when I looked this morning. He was plus 118 earlier prior to that. So there is money for PCB, and you can see why. I mean, I can certainly see why. I think this is a great chance for Carreno Busta if he still retains the desire and the energy and all the rest of it. Talking about players off court situations, Kecmanovic is in another one of his funks at the minute since his grandma died, which was right at the end of last year or at the start of this year, I think. And he said after losing to Etcheverry at the Australian Open, another match, by the way, that he lost in a deciding set, about his 300th of his career, he said, "That's how it is. Tennis is not that important to me right now. I'm playing as much as I can. I lost my grandmother at Christmas. That's it." There you go. So, not in a good place, clearly. Family issues. I mean, he was absolutely nowhere near Etcheverry, by the way, in that match. Nowhere near, despite the fact that it went to 5 sets. 114-86 in favour of Etcheverry. He should have won that match a lot sooner than he actually did. Only won 23% of return points that day, Kecmanovic. And if we look at what he's done recently at this level, on this surface, main level, on indoor hard, it's not great. PCB's actually got a better record. Last 10 matches each then on this surface. Kecmanovic, 40% win rate. Service points won and return points won, total of 98. PCB, 50% win rate and a total of 102. So better stats there for Carreno Busta. Second serve points won in those matches. Kecmanovic just 47%. Carreno Busta 60%. Holds of serve, Kecmanovic just 75%. Carreno Busta 85%. So much, much better recent stats on this surface for Carreno Busta than Kecmanovic. And you would have to say that PCB was pretty unlucky to lose to Mensik at the Australian Open. He won the service points won and return points won totals by 102-98. He won 41% of return points against a big server in Mensik. He actually won one more point in the match as well, but lost it. So he'll feel he was pretty unlucky there. Yeah, I just think there's enough in this to take Carreno Busta as underdog if that price still stays by the time this match starts, which is perhaps questionable. But yeah, plus 105. That's where I'm going here.
And there is money coming for PCB. Pablo Carreno Busta currently plus 105 with BetRivers. If you want to get on that now, because I do think he might start a minus money or around about even money. So a little bit of value there at the plus 105. Our final match is an all French affair in France. Valentin Royer up against Arthur Fils. Arthur Fils hasn't played since Toronto in August last year. And he's now a minus 150 against a very talented guy in Royer, dangerous opponent. Plus 120 Royer here. Spread is 1.5. Total here is 23.5. Again, whole host of markets, different markets available on the BetRivers website and on the app. They've never met before. Royer's having a bit of a tough time of it. He hasn't won in 3. Got beat by Taylor Fritz at the Australian Open. But he did okay. He covered the spread. He did all right. I bet him that day to cover the spread, and he did.
He was injured, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah, but he's another one to come for money. And you're taking a big chance by taking Arthur Fils here. He hasn't played since Toronto in August last year. So you're betting a little bit on what you saw previous to that injury. And I think it's, on the comeback trail to take minus money could be a dangerous tactic.
Yeah, I think it's very dangerous. I mean, there's an obvious chance for Royer here, given that Fils hasn't played since the 1st of August. That was, well, I can't do the rudimentary maths. It's 6 months? Ish.
Yes.
It's not.
Yes, 6 months.
I can't even do 8 + 6. Yes, he hasn't played for 6 months due to this ongoing back issue. If people aren't aware that he's Arthur Fils has had this issue since he was 15 years of age. It's a back problem that he has had for a very long time, and he just has to cope with it as best he can. And the recent quotes from him, he said he's making changes to the way he plays in order to protect that that problem. The most interesting quote, I'll read it out. He said, "The doctors have drawn up a plan with the physiotherapist, the physical trainer, and the tennis coach to try and reduce the impact on my back. There are a few small changes I can make. These are changes that will inevitably take time because I've been playing the same way for 15 years." So basically what he's saying there is he's got to change his technique somehow, whether that means on the serve or what. I'll presume the serve, I don't know. He's certainly got to make changes to his game. Otherwise, that the medical people have said to him, look, you're not going to be able to do this. You're going to have to change the way you play. So given the fact that he's not played for 6 months, given the fact that on top of that, he's now got to change the way he plays, I don't think we can expect a great level from him. I'd be very impressed if he came in here and knocked Royer off in straight sets with all those problems. Royer's kind of inexperienced on indoor hard at this level. He's won 2, lost 4. Service points, 1 return points, 1 total of 94. So it's not great, but it's only 6 matches. It's a very small sample size. That will improve. Fils is okay record, 19 wins, 13 losses, total of 99.5. But return points won, both men, very low. Royer only winning 28% of return points. Fils winning just 33.5. Immediately I'm thinking the overs is probably one of the best ways to go here, given also that Fils is very rusty and changing his technique. So there's a couple of ways to attack this. I think it's always risky with an injured player coming back. An obvious choice probably is Royer to win the first set. That's around about even money. Or perhaps the one I'm slightly leaning to a bit more is the over 2.5 sets at plus 124. We bet Rivers. I think those are the ways to attack this. It's difficult with a player coming back from injury, but it looks to me like it's a tough situation for Fils if he's got to change the way he's playing as well as overcome rustiness.
Couple of little ways to get with the Royer Fils match, the all French affair. Looking for a long one there, over 2.5 sets. It's plus 123 at Bet Rivers. If you download the app now, you can take a look at those prices. So there we have it. That is the tour. Only one talk this week. It is a little bit of a come down after the Australian Open, but thank you very much for watching and subscribing. And hopefully it doesn't matter where you are, you're betting a winner. It doesn't matter if it's the Australian Open or the first round of Montpellier. A winner is a winner. And hopefully we'll give you some more winners. I did say at the top of the show that our graphic was a little bit out there. We mined 2.35 units so far of the year because we didn't put the double fault bet onto the profit as well. So a little bit better than what we thought there. Sean, what are our official plays then for tomorrow in Montpellier? Okay,
so we've got 2 1-point win bets on the matches in Montpellier. The first one being Nikoloz Basilashvili plus 138. We bet Rivers to beat Luca Nardi, and the other one being Pablo Carreno Busta to beat Kecmanovic. I believe he's now plus 105 chance of Bet Rivers. And the outright is pretty simple. 12 to 1, just one bet each way, unbear. I guess we're going to go quarter of a point again, are we, on that?
Have a half you that one if you want. Half each way.
Okay. Whatever you think.
Confident? I think he should be. I think he should be second favourite. I think of the edge of all the tournaments we've done so far this year, I think you've got more of an edge on this one. We both agreeing that he should be second favourite, third favourite, and to get 12s, double figure prices compared to some of the other guys, I think it's a bit of more of a value. So I'm okay in a half each way bet issue.
You're the expert on staking, so yeah, I'm happy to be led by you on that.
Yeah, we're going to have a half each. I'm going to get involved, and you'll be following me, cheering Ugo and Bear up over in Montpellier from Thursday on our socials at Because We Win on Instagram and on Twitter as well. As well as that, tomorrow I'll be joined by Tim Dennis to look at all the latest bets on the WTA Tour. 3 events this week on the WTA Tour, only one on the ATP. And myself and Sean will be back again as usual on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. So that's it. That's the tournament in Montpellier. I hope you cash big on the Australian Open if you enjoyed it. And like I said, a lot of you joined us for that Australian Open. Stick with us throughout the season, on the tennis season. We'll have you covered here. Whenever there's tennis, will be available for bets and picks on the Betting Weekly Studios. Take care, Sean. Thanks very much for your day. Take care. Have a good day for the rest of your day. And we'll speak to you all again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.